Hello, Footballer Nation, and welcome to the greatest rising podcast in football. My name is Carson, and I am a very, very sad Battlehawksaholic.
My name is Alex, and I'm a very, very happy Panthersaholic. Not to be confused with Carolina. They don't get the happiness.
I mean, I'm a fairly content UFL fan. Football's football, man.
To hear more about football being football, make sure to stay tuned for the rest of the episode. But first, we gotta roll that intro. Hello, Footballer Nation, and welcome to Footballers Anonymous, the greatest rising podcast in football and the only podcast covering the UFL. It's true. Don't look it up. Coming at you after a crazy conference championship weekend. How are you guys feeling?
I'm feeling a lot better than you.
Correct.
Hey, like I said, football's football. Feel great to be watching football and having football watch me, you know?
Football's watching you.
They watch me while they sleep.
While they sleep?
Feel like somebody's watching me.
Wait a second. I wanna get this straight.
All right, so we have some questions for you guys this week. They are presented by our non-official FBA sponsor, although at this point they might as well reach out. ChatGPT, ladies and gentlemen, with our questions this week.
No AI is involved here.
No. This is a person named ChatGPT.
Oh.
Who, by the way, ChatGPT, it's only a matter of time before you find some. Just lock in. Trust me. This first one
And
is
for those saying they don't believe us and they think ChatGPT is not a real name, just look at the names of Elon Musk's kids.
This is true. Alex, this first question from our listener ChatGPT is for you. It says, "Hey, Alex, as a huge Panthers fan, I gotta ask, what do you think was the key to your team making it this far in the playoffs? Do you think it was the leadership on offense or that elite defense that stepped up when it mattered most?"
Well, here's what I'll say. In terms of the course of the entire season, I think the offense has been the bright spot for the team in general. Obviously, we have Bryce Perkins, we have Tua Tagovailoa. That dual threat right there is just a nightmare for UFL defenses to try and contain. But give credit where credit's due. The defense has also been stepping up in a lot of our games this season. And even though the Stallions put up 29 against us in this past playoff game, the defense did a lot to keep them contained. A lot of their points were due to them having to pass constantly because they were trying to play catch up, and the fact that the offense was turning over the ball. So the defense played very well. They kept the Stallions offense pretty contained for all things considered, even though they tried to pull what they did last year and put Coral in last second.
It's true. All right. Ian, this next question is for you. Also by someone named ChatGPT. This one asks, Ian, let's be real. How many more seasons do you think the Bears need to be serious Super Bowl contenders? Are we looking at another year of rebuilding, or is there hope on the horizon? What is your top priority for the rest of this offseason to get there?
Honestly, I think that we can be serious Super Bowl contenders in this year if we just do good in camp. We play in a pretty tough division, so it might be a tough road to the playoffs. But I think if we win the division battle, we can be contenders. If not this year, I think it's 100% next year we will be serious Super Bowl contenders. I don't really know what we need to work on right now. We kind of hit a lot of what we did with the draft and offseason. We'll have to see at the end of the season what we need next season. But yeah, I think this year or next year.
All right, and this last one is actually for me. It says, Carson, after that tough loss in the UFL playoffs, what do you think the Battlehawks need to address in the offseason to make a deeper playoff run next year? Any moves you want to see them make? Also, how do you feel about the team's overall growth this season? Well, first off, I think this game made it very clear that the main piece that the Battlehawks are missing is that MVP caliber quarterback. All the love to Max Duggan, of course, because, that man's legs are just like crazy. But when it comes to throwing the ball, he's not the best, not necessarily. Our backup, Brandon Silvers, would have been better there, but he can't use his legs. So we were trying to play around with them this game. And the Panthers defense really locked us up. Or yes, not the Panthers, the Stallions. No, the defenders. Guys, I had to go through all of them. The defenders defense really stopped us. And I know we don't really know fully what we have in Manny Wilkins yet. But I think we're going to be addressing the quarterback room because we have a lot of great things. Our running backs, Jarvian Howard and Jacob Sailors, are of course incredible. Have an amazing wide receiver room. We have an amazing defense. We have an amazing roster overall, but the quarterback play was pretty much what killed us. So I think we're going to be looking at that a lot this offseason. And those are all of our questions. Thank you so much to ChatGPT, loyal listener of Footballers Anonymous. We appreciate the questions. And now we're going to run to Alex, who has comment of the week.
Our comment of the week is from Zach Lou is real. It is at Denver Broncos because that is a valid take.
At Denver Broncos. Yeah, that's it. Just at
right.
Denver Broncos.
Yep.
What video was this on?
The Denver Broncos draft video.
Hey, he wanted them to listen to you, Carson.
Oh, who did I say they should draft? I don't even remember.
Y'all should go find out.
You should go find out because apparently I had a good take. Good enough to alert the Broncos of it. I know they didn't listen to it, but I guess I had a good take.
You never know. They
And
might.
they took Jade Barron. That's 100% what Carson said.
That's totally what I
But
said in that video.
If the viewers want to fact check me, go check out the video.
Go check out all our videos, in fact.
And comment below what you find. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we get into the main portion of this week's episode, we are going to quickly go over the fan-voted 2025 Footballers Anonymous favorite segment, Carson's College Knowledge. We don't have too much news for you this week, but we do have a little bit of some pretty interesting stuff. First off, College Game Day will be at the Ohio State versus Texas game. This is significant because it will be Lee Corso's last game. Very sad, big icon for the NCAA community. But this is really going to be probably game of the year with all the drama that's been going around it. It was deleted, but my sources have informed me that yesterday, the official 2025 Mountain West football standings page leaked the return of TCU to the conference. So stay tuned for news on that. But that's what my sources are telling me. With some more kind of insider information, apparently Alabama tried to recruit Kevin Jennings, who's an SMU quarterback, into the transfer portal to take over for Jalen Milroe, but it was qualified as tampering, and so they were punished for it. Boston College next season will be the first major FBS program to rep New Balance jerseys during the season, so that's pretty cool. And lastly, USC's 2024 hype video, which by the way is one of the most insane things I've ever watched, and you should go look at it, was just nominated for an Emmy. So go USC. We love USC. We love Caleb Williams. Not that he was in the 2024 hype video, but you know, we still love USC. And that is it for Carson's College Knowledge. And overall, a pretty eventful week. And now we get to talk about the main reason all of you come here, because we're the only podcast that covers this league, the United Football League. We're getting a lot of interesting information reveals this week. Alex, you wanna take this first one on our list?
Yes, I would, because the Offensive Player of the Year award for the UFL has just been announced, and it is none other than the quarterback of the Michigan Panthers, Bryce Perkins. Round of applause for him. I personally think that he was selected for the Offensive Player of the Year award partially because he missed time, so it kind of thwarted his MVP candidacy a little bit. But also he gets a lot more use out of his legs as well. Like he gets use out, of course he could throw the ball. That's a little bit of a difference between Max Duggan and Bryce Perkins. He can do both, but I think the use of his legs and the fact that our running game is so lethal is part of why I earned him Offensive Player of the Year votes.
Yeah, kind of an interesting one. I didn't expect a quarterback to win Offensive Player of the Year.
Me either.
This does kind of give us some intel into some other awards that we will also get into later. But first, we have the Defensive Player of the Year award was also announced, and it is none other than St. Louis Battlehawk, Pita Talmudpanu. his name is so hard to pronounce, but I love Peta. He is a dog, led the league in sacks. Absolutely no surprise that he got this. That's pretty much it. But congratulations to him for being the Defensive Player of the Year.
And we're going back to the Michigan Panthers with the Special Teams Player of the Year, Mr. Kendrick Whitehead. Absolute dog.
I'm not going to lie, I was low-key kind of shocked by that one.
I'm not going to lie, I was also kind of shocked.
I was expecting Chris Rowland. Really?
Yeah, but you know what? I'll take another award for the Panthers. We have all the firepower.
And lastly, we have the MVP. Quick disclaimer. We are recording this the day before it comes out, or we expect it to be the day before it comes out. But this is a pretty well-educated guess. This doesn't go against ownership or credibility because I think it's pretty straightforward. I think this is almost a guarantee. MVP being DC Defenders quarterback Jordan Ta'amu.
Future Carson here. Oops.
Amazing season. Perkins won Offensive Player of the Year. Ta'amu has been amazing week in, week out. Completion percentage was an issue early on, but he seems to have been cleaning that up, making it a lot better, getting a lot more productivity off of just more completions. So we think it's a pretty safe lock to say he's MVP. And if we're wrong, we will.
All right, and I'm going to stop right there. Hey, future Carson here. We messed up. Jordan Ta'amu did not win MVP. It was actually Bryce Perkins. See, none of us even thought about the fact that it is technically possible for someone to win Offensive Player of the Year and MVP. So we instantly assumed it was Ta'amu. We tried to wait until the announcement came out, but it was going too long, so we ended up recording. And even then I tried to wait for release, and I was just now editing it, when they made that change. I'm so sorry. We will address this next week, though. I promise. For our credibility and ownership's sake. I know we said it was a prediction before, but still, we like to humbly apologize. We will be addressing this next week when we pick our own.
Those are the awards for the 2024 and 2025 season. We do have some more that haven't been announced yet that we will be saving to talk about next week, as well as a couple FBA awards, because that's just kind of how we roll around here. As Ian has previously stated in the past, one of our biggest draws and characteristics as a podcast is how much better we do things than major corporations. So stay tuned for that next week. But now it's time to talk about some of the games this week. Alex, your Panthers were on first on Saturday in Birmingham, and they put up a pretty solid performance.
It was an incredible game from the Panthers overall. The only thing that was bothering me was the fact we kept letting the Stallions crawl their way back into the game with careless turnovers. But the offense, besides that, was moving very efficiently. The defense was making stops despite the score getting ramped up by the turnovers. Bryce Perkins came back this week. He looked incredible. Him and Toa Tawa ran all over the defense of the Stallions. Their defense could not find an answer for our offense, and it was very nice to see. We ended up winning that game 44-29. I'm hoping we win next week because I'm not going to spoil the matchup. You probably already know the matchup if you follow us in the UFL. But if they win, I am buying a championship hat, and either a hat or a shirt, and I will rep it whenever it comes in on the podcast. But we got to get that dub, man.
So something interesting that happened in this game that kind of shocked all of us was Jamar Smith being benched, which was kind of crazy.
Yeah, that was another thing I was thinking about. I feel like Skip Holtz was trying to get a jump, trying to pull the same thing as last year, expecting it to work. It didn't. By the way, Skip Holtz.
Yeah.
He was a mess this game. It was ridiculous. He was he was complaining about everything, and he was not coaching well either. It was just a mess for Skip Holtz. It was a disaster class. I was talking about most of the game. I remember specifically there was a false start that he disagreed with, and the refs were on the sidelines explaining it for a good 3 plays afterwards.
And it was
when they made the first down, and he was continuing to yell at them. He was pent up that game. It was kind of unprofessional, but whatever.
I even tried to defend him the first time, but he didn't stop. Like, it was so disgustingly unprofessional from one of the UFL's greatest coaches. So
Yeah.
that was kind of a shock to see. A lot of questionable decision making by Skip Holtz in this game.
I'm glad we beat them and moved our record to 1-7 against the Stallions all the time. Better late than never.
And then the next game that happened was in St. Louis. The Defenders marched into St. Louis against the Battlehawks, and it was awful. When I say awful, I mean terrible. This was probably the worst Max Duggan performance I have ever seen. A grand total of 10 passing yards in the entire first half. He was benched at halftime for Brandon Silvers, our backup quarterback, who actually put together a pretty solid drive, got us a nice touchdown. It was great from him. And then on the touchdown pass, he got injured and taken out of the game. And so Max Duggan had to play the rest of it. So the small spark of life we had immediately got taken out. The defense was our only real strong point here, and they weren't even incredible. Exploited a couple nice mistakes from Jordan Ta'amu, who was lighting up the field, by the way. Maybe this is karma for me talking about his completion percentages all season, but every single time the ball left that man's hands, he was getting a first down. I don't even remember exactly what the stat was, but there was some stat where during the first half, there were 31 offensive snaps by the Defenders and 15 first downs. Something ridiculous like that. What in the world? Our only points in the first half were because of a pick six and a very generous ref call that we did not deserve, and then Jacob Sailors being Jacob Sailors. But this game was pretty defeating, pretty agonizing. We did lose 36-18 in the end. And yeah, it was pretty rough. So the Defenders will be moving on to the championship in St. Louis again next week.
And that kind of just segues us to our championship game preview.
Yeah, correct. Alex leads us right into Footballer Select.
Our first of the two in the UFL Championship game time slot at Saturday, June 14th, 8 o'clock p.m. EST, is the Defenders against the Panthers. Obviously, the two winners of the winner of the USFL Championship versus the winner of the XFL Championship. I'm going to get it out of the way. I'm obviously taking the Panthers to win. I really hope they win because I would love to see, even if it's my UFL team, I would just love to see a championship. I have not seen a single championship from any of my teams in my lifetime, unless you want to count lacrosse because the Buffalo Bandits three-peated, but I don't watch it. I just follow them. I've never watched a team of mine win a championship.
Sorry, I'm thinking about this one. This is actually a pretty hard prediction for me.
I'll just jump right in then. I think both teams had amazing showings on both sides of the ball this week. Both had great offensive performances. Panthers had a little bit better one, and both teams had great defensive performances. Defenders had a bit of a better one. But ultimately, one team let this game stay closer than the other. So I'm going to be taking the DC Defenders. As much as I would love to see Alex get a Panthers victory, I just think the Defenders are a more solid unit. I think they'll actually be able to defeat the run game a lot better than the Stallions were, which was a lot of the Panthers' attack. And the Panthers it was just one pick six, right? Not two.
Yes, it was one, I believe.
Yeah. So the Panthers had a pick six, which is really what ended up winning them the game. It came on early on, but it was just a spirit defeater. So I think the Defenders will walk in and take this one.
All right, so looking at these two teams, both of them I have to look at in a very different way than I did last week. I doubted the Panthers last week for the Stallions. They proved me wrong. I was very impressed with the Panthers' performance. And the Defenders did the same exact thing. We started to doubt their defense a little bit. We started talking about them falling off, and then that defense showed up. What it really comes down to for me, kind of like what Ian said, is I think one of these teams just made fewer mistakes last week. I think one of them made fewer mistakes. The Panthers, I think what really won them the game against the Stallions was their running attack and their rushing attack. And I just watched the defenders absolutely stuff the best rushing attack in the league. So the Panthers are going to need to rely on the passing game quite a bit, which they can still definitely do. Bryce Perkins can still air it out. But honestly, right now, the defenders look like the better team. So I think I am going to pick them and pray that they don't win because I really hate them now. And I think it would be really great if one of the FBA members finally actually got a championship instead of last year where all three of our teams sold. So, we're hoping to get some titles. What?
I do also want to point out, this is something we talked about in the Panthers Stallions game, was how much the Stallions receiving game was just not good in one side. The quarterbacks were getting the balls where they needed to be. They were throwing some good passes, and Stallions receivers just could not come down with anything. There were so many drops, so many miscommunications, so many bad moments, and stuff that you didn't see out of the defenders. And I think that's going to be a big difference that helps the defenders win this game.
This is going to be a super exciting matchup. I'm very, very excited to be watching this. Yeah,
And for those who don't already know this is going to be our game of the week.
Hang on, are you sure?
I am sure, yes.
I'm pretty sure.
You can't forget that also at Saturday, June 14th at 8 o'clock p.m. EST is Panthers Oilers. The Panthers are playing 2 games at once.
2 different sports, too.
No, it's crazy. Forget the
But
Carolina Panthers. We got to talk about the Florida Panthers.
You also have to keep in mind. Hold on. I'm double checking this real quick. Okay, never mind.
Are we predicting this game as well? I mean, we have the time.
Yeah, we have to.
Okay.
Now here's the thing about this one. We're doing this one because it's the game in the same time slot, but we have to remember there's a game that's in between that hasn't been played yet. So this will either be a 3-1 Panthers lead or a 2-2 series tie at this point. This will be in Edmonton, which is important because the 3 games that have been played so far, Edmonton games have both been very close. The Florida game was a complete blowout.
Hi, for those of you who are like me and have no idea what this sport is, we are talking about the NHL playoffs right now. Just to clarify.
And that being said, I'm Ian, and I'm a Blackhawksaholic.
I'm Alex, and I'm a Sabres-aholic. Oh, this is terrible.
Do I have to say Mammoth, or can I still say Coyotes?
You can say whatever your heart desires.
Whatever you want.
I have to say it at least one time to establish myself. I'll wait till next season to say it. I'm Carson, and I am a Coyotes-aholic.
And now that the introduction's out the way, I'm just going to jump right in. I'm going to be taking the Panthers over the Oilers. I think the Oilers are going to win the game in between, making it a 2-2 series tie, and the Panthers are going to walk up and make it a 3-2 series lead.
All right, here's where I'm coming from with my extreme ball knowledge. Is it ball knowledge or puck knowledge? I don't know.
Puck knowledge.
Puck knowledge. All right, with my extreme puck knowledge, when I think Oilers, I immediately think Houston Oilers, which immediately makes me think of Will Levis, which means I think the Panthers are clearly going to win this game. So I'm gonna take the Panthers.
I also have to go with the Panthers because I can't go against the Panthers.
Now, do you guys think this? Do you think they think there's going to be a 3-1 or 2-2 going into that game?
I think it's gonna be 3-1.
I'm gonna be honest.
3-1.
3-1.
It's tough because before Game 3, I thought that there was no way that this series could be over in 5 games.
That's what I was thinking too.
But if the Panthers get the momentum and continue, like the Oilers were absolutely stomped and they were frustrated too. They got played in every regard, physically, in terms of scoring, goaltending. Like it was a terrible Game 3 for Edmonton. Granted, I don't
want to
think
remind you, Alex.
it'll be a 3-1 lead.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I do want to remind you, Alex. Last year, the same teams, it went to Game 7.
Oh no, I know. I honestly still think it'll go to Game 7, so I'm saying it's a 2-2 thing. But if I'm gonna say it will be 2-2 and the Panthers win. But if it's 3-1, I still think I think the Oilers will take Game 5. It's 3-1, but I'm going 2-2 Panthers.
All right, there you guys have it. Footballers select. And now, a word from our sponsor.
Mayotivations with Will Levis.
Hey everybody, Carson here. Look, I'm still hurting. Battlehawks got absolutely smoked by the defenders in the conference champ. I mean, it was brutal. Like Peter Prisco trying to appreciate fine wine and artisan cheeses.
Yeah, Carson, that was tough. But you know what helps ease the pain? Footballers Anonymous merch. It's like the fine wine and arts and cheese of podcast merch. The kind of stuff that cool people love. And Pete Prisco definitely does not.
The Panthers beat the Stallions. Oh, glorious day. 1-7, baby. No longer 0-8.
It's wrong info.
We're living the finer things in life, fellas. Like the sweet taste of victory. And yes, even Mitchell David Trubisky's holy presence in the quarterback room.
Even in defeat, Trubisky's wristband shines like a fine Cabernet.
Hey, look. Where the heck is Destroy? We haven't seen him in weeks. I'm starting to think Pete Prisco's got him locked in a basement somewhere, trying to teach him about good football takes.
Oh man, poor Destroying. Forced to listen to Pete Prisco talk about why he hates everything that's actually good in the world, like fine wine, artisan cheeses, and of course, Mitchell David Trubisky.
We here at Footballers Anonymous are all about the finer things in life. You want a shirt that feels like aged cheddar on your shoulders? A hoodie that goes down smoother than a 2016 Sierra? We got you.
Head over to footballersanonymous-shop.fourthwall.com and for the next week, use code ALLUFL at checkout for 10% off your order. That's our special playoff sale, like a limited edition cheese platter before your wardrobe.
For the first 5 customers, you're going to get a personal video message from each of us. Like a personalized familiar note, but with more footballer talk and at least 3 mentions. Yes, at least 3 mentions of Mitchell David Trubisky's greatness.
Plus, the first 50 customers will be listed in the credits at the end of every video as our supporters, immortalized like a fine brie aged in the cave football legend.
Let's just be clear. This ad was not written by it's 100% us humans. They're all real football things and real information.
So pick yourself up a Battlehawks hoodie, a Trubisky tee, or a Pete Prisco dartboard. Just kidding, kinda. And let's raise a glass to the finer things in life.
One victory over the Stallions, one step closer to wine and cheese heaven.
And hey, before you go, if you see Destroying, tell him we're worried. And please, please, tell him to come back home.
All right, guys. Let's hit them with that all-new, all-original FBA ad outro music.
Footballer Nation, you know where to go. The merch store is out and now you're part of the show. Get your name on the credits, let your fandom glow. Footballers Anonymous-shop.fourthwall.com, let's roll. FBA VIPs, first time gonna shine, cause I'm big on the crew on a pecan. So click that like, get your shine. Footballers Anonymous-shop.fourthwall.com, style shop.
Wow, guys, that was a really fine ad we had there. That was really that was really nice. Really nice.
I think some
Now-
news.
Before we get into all the NFL news we have, I'm Ian, and I'm a Bearsaholic.
I'm Alex, and I'm a Billsaholic.
I'm Carson, and I'm a much happier Cardsaholic.
Well, I think it's only fair if I kick off with this amazing bit of news. The Minnesota Vikings have signed Aaron Rodgers. And by Minnesota Vikings, I obviously mean Pittsburgh Steelers. They finally got a real thing on pen and paper. They signed him to a 1-year, $13.65 million deal, which makes him the highest paid player ever in NFL history, passing Matthew Stafford. To preface, that does not mean single contract. That is overall earnings throughout their career. Also, apparently, Aaron Rodgers got married months ago. He was seen wearing a wedding ring at practice and sparked a lot of publicity in the community.
He seemed to look like he was so cool because he kept that secret from everyone. It was thoughts on the Aaron Rodgers signing?
Cool. Good for them. 9-8. Honestly, probably won't even happen this year.
No,
I saw a post that said Aaron Rodgers stopped the Steelers from winning the Super Bowl once before. He's about to do it again.
I mean, look, I'm gonna say, because a lot of people are really hating on this signing because, yeah, it's Aaron Rodgers and there's a good chance he destroys your team because he's Aaron Rodgers. Having said that, last year on the Jets, and these are the Jets, keep in mind, he did almost have 4,000 passing yards. Touchdowns to interceptions was, let me see. Touchdowns to interceptions was 28-11, so not like amazing, But if you look at everyone else that the Steelers had on roster, you have an untested rookie and Mason Rudolph. So a year of Aaron Rodgers for $13 million, maybe not the worst
Fair price.
move.
It's only a 1-year contract.
It's a fair price. See what happens,
Yeah, just don't let him destroy your whole organization like he did in New York, and you'll be fine. So coming in with our next bit of news, the Texans are signing Nick Chubb to a 1-year, $2.5 million deal. That could be worth up to $5 million, granted, but still dirt cheap. What? Tell me no one was willing to pay Nick Chubb more than that? I know he's a running back, and the running back market is whack. Alex and I had a full conversation about this before the podcast started, but still, 2.5 mil? That's it for Nick Chubb? I know he's injured, or he's been injured, but he's still Nick Chubb.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Bears were obviously looking at him. I'm surprised we didn't end up offering him more. I guess we really didn't want him that much. But I mean, I think this is a pretty good addition to the Texans roster if he can stay healthy.
Oh, yeah. Him and Joe Mixon is just a filthy backfield.
Yes.
And they also have Damian Pierce, which he disappeared off the face of the earth.
Yeah, I really missed that guy. He had like a legacy. What was it? 2021 season.
I think
His
so.
rookie
Rookie was incredible. I don't know
He was
why they.
Amazing.
I don't know what happened.
I honestly kind of assumed he wasn't on the roster anymore. I thought he went somewhere else just because we stopped seeing him.
No, he's still
They just-
there. I don't know why they're not using him.
I mean, they do have their insane backfield now, but yeah,
Yeah, but he started getting filtered out before they had Mixon.
Yeah.
that's true.
The Broncos are signing running back J.K. Dobbins to a 1-year, $5.25 million deal. Why are we paying J.K. Dobbins more than Nick Chubb? No disrespect to J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins is solid, but like
Completely agree.
it's Nick Chubb. Regardless, they signed him to the backfield, and honestly, any running back is very helpful for the Broncos because last year their running back room was abysmal.
Hey, they've got
No.
J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey now. Like, could actually be a pretty solid running back.
Oh yeah.
Another piece of news I feel amazing delivering. The Packers just up and released cornerback Jair Alexander. It's hilarious to me. Packers fans swore this guy was one of the best cornerbacks in the league, and he just got dropped. Fun fact, I can't remember if it was the Packers owner or GM, but when asked about it, they said, we're used to not having him anyway. So even the organization knows.
It would have
Alexander-
been the GM because they have the collaborative owner.
Yeah, they
system.
only have a president, not an owner.
So it might have been president then. But so yeah, I mean they make a valid point. Alexander has suffered a decent amount of injuries throughout his career, and he's missed a lot of games. But it's so funny. Like he's not that good of a cornerback, and they swore he was elite and top 5, and now he's just gone off the roster. So
Alex, if you want to take this one.
Oh, I didn't, but it's okay. I'll take this other one at the bottom. Stephon Diggs spoke for the first time at Patriots minicamp per CBS
he jumps
Sports.
ahead by multiple points.
He actually, I saw the video. He commented on the fact that he talked to Mike Vrabel about like making good decisions, I guess, but he was talking about how his personal life should be set. Like I don't know, he didn't know why people were getting so involved in his personal life comparatively to his work life, and to an extent that's fair, but also there's also the thoughts where like you're supposed to be an influence for people. Not only that, but if you're doing stuff you shouldn't be doing when it's very close to mini camps and whatnot, it's not a necessarily good look for the organization. But I mean, I think it'll be fine for them. Now that's not to mention the fact that he will still probably be complaining about not getting the ball constantly, but that's a different problem. That's not the offseason problem.
Alex is completely glancing over the fact that it is his first time speaking. He spoke for the first time at Patriots minicamp.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. He spoke for the first time. First time.
It's very, very nice to see someone get some literary function, especially this late in their life. CBS Sports supplied this amazing news for us. Just right there, Stephon Diggs spoke for the first time at Patriots minicamp. So congratulations, Stephon Diggs.
We here at Footballers Anonymous, like we said earlier, pride ourselves in the fact that we do things better than major organizations. But this news drop by CBS Sports telling us that Stephon Diggs spoke for the first time at Patriots minicamp, like, dang, I I couldn't do it any better myself, honestly. So thank you, CBS Sports, for that amazing piece of info. In other news, a personal favorite of mine, Cardinals linebacker Dennis Gardeck is now signing with the Jags. Kind of saw this coming. Figured we weren't going to re-sign him. We're basically revamping the whole defense, and he deserves to be paid. I love you, Dennis. Good luck in Jacksonville. Nothing but the best.
Next up, the Ravens are extending wide receiver Rashawn Bateman to a 3-year, $36.75 million deal. I think that's pretty solid. He's a solid receiver, great on special teams. He's been in Baltimore for a while, and I think it's a good signing.
James Cook finally spoke. He went to training camp, which was a bit of a surprise to some people, but he said he went to training camp for the money, which means he didn't want to be fined, which that is understandable. It's a lot of fine. You get fined a lot when you hold out from training camp and whatnot. He further went on to comment on like the issues that have been going on. He said they're all business. It's nothing personal with the team. He still wants to win a Super Bowl ring with the Bills and everything like that. But obviously there's a difference between the personal side of things and the business side of things, and I think that makes sense. It's nothing that's conflicting in terms of like petty stuff. It's just nature of the business, which is understandable.
Honestly, I saw a lot of comments talking about this, and I, for one, agree. A lot of people don't really understand why NFL players dispute over money, and in some cases it makes sense. Like if a high level player, it's getting offered a very low amount of money, but a lot of times if you just get out there and play, play how you want to be paid, then the issues should work themselves out. It's a bit harder to do that in the off season when you're not playing, and you can only go off your last season. I really don't know why the Bills are so reserved to giving James Cook what he wants, unless he's asking for an absurd amount of money. But that's a lot of people kind of agree. I don't really see the point of just whining and complaining. You're already getting paid a lot. You're doing this thing you love. Just get out there and play. Let the play speak for itself.
He is asking for a lot of money.
Yeah.
For considering the running back market, he is asking for quite a lot of money, and I think he's asking for top 3 money. He's not top
I don't know about
3.
that.
See, it really doesn't help him that this is happening while you've got players like Nick Chubb and
Exactly.
J.K. Dobbins signing for as low as they are. It's really, really hurting his case.
Yeah, I think he was asking for 16 million, like a year, maybe. Oh, I have to double check. Hang on.
I mean, if that were like a 1 to 2 year contract for
that's
60
not
million,
awful.
but
No, I think he wants a longer term deal for 15 million per year.
yeah, like I'd assume that with as young as he is and how much he's probably enjoyed being with the Bills, I expect him to at least want a 4 to 5 year million or a 4 to 5 year deal. So, and if that's what he wants and that's what they're offering, 16 mil is kind of crazy for that.
Yeah. So the it's 15 mil. I was wrong, but it puts him above Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley, Alvin Kamara, Josh Jacobs.
No,
Like that's
Nah.
kind of what, not even like if he went down like a little bit, but he's not. He wants like top 3 money, and he's top 10. Like I understand fighting against it a little bit. It's kind of that line where it's like I understand fighting against it, and I understand James Cook not necessarily being happy, but also like he is asking for quite a bit.
I totally believe James Cook should be paid. I just don't think it should be near that extent.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I agree. I think James Cook is a great running back. It's just he's asking for too much.
See,
That's been the big problem.
I think he does deserve that money, but the issue is I feel like all of the running backs deserve to be paid a lot more, but they just don't. And when you look at it in comparison to the other running backs, if we're following that market, then he's being then he is asking for too much. But if he's trying to, I totally understand the fact that he's like, we gotta like fix this. Like running back, like we're worth more than that. That's totally fair. Especially with them being one of the most physical positions that put their body on the line every single time they carry the ball. They deserve to be paid a lot more than they are. But with the way the market is right now, he's asking for way too much.
Yeah,
and
I
all
totally
the
agree.
recent signings are hurting.
I totally agree. I think, like in terms of just overall money in comparison to the league, he and other running backs do deserve that. But in relativity to the market, just like you said, Carson, he does not deserve what he's asking for in comparison to the other running backs. And that's a great point. And one last piece of NFL news. Chicago Bears amazing tight end Cole Kmet got married over the weekend. Congratulations to you, Cole Kmet. Love you. Should have been me. Go crazy this year, man.
Hey, we love Cole.
And now, with the conclusion of our NFL news, we're going to be hopping into my favorite segment, Footballers Anonymous Quick Picks. And this year, Alex, do you want to tell us what we're doing? Or this week, do you want to tell us what we're doing?
We got some recommendations because we went and asked for them on our social medias. Please give us some more recommendations, though. We would greatly appreciate it. But our recommendation that we're using for this week is NFL coaches based on how good of a father they would be.
Shout out Trace and Guild for giving us this one on Instagram.
I believe Ian has the first overall pick.
Alex, you got the first overall pick.
Oh, I
It's
do.
you.
Really?
Yes.
Oh boy. I'm torn. I'm very torn.
I have my 1 and 2. So if you take either of these two guys that I have, I'm just going to take the other.
I
I'm
think I'm
between
chilling.
3.
I've got 2 that I really want, and I think I should be able. If I could get away with both of them, I'd be so happy.
You know, I have to do it because I see the way he interacts with this quarterback, and I just
Ah.
think he'd be.
Yeah.
I have to go with Jim Harbaugh here.
I was really hoping I would get him.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing pick, amazing pick. He brings a lot of culture to the Chargers. He really revitalized that team. Great dynamic with his quarterback. And he just seems to be happy all the time. He gets out there, gets the work done himself as well. So amazing pick by Alex there. I really respect that. Kind of along the same lines of just bringing in great culture to the team that he came, really rise them up, really took care, really cares for his players and his team. I'm going to be taking Dan Campbell.
Oh.
I think he has a lot of respect and a lot of care for his team. Really cares about those guys. I think I think he is and would make a great father.
With my first round pick, I mean, I'm looking at good people who I know do good for their communities, care about their players, and are just overall good people who would do well raising a kid. And despite the team, you cannot deny the fact that Andy Reid has to be a first round.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I think it deserves it. It deserves it. With my second round pick, I'm going to be taking someone who is very personal to me for a lot of reasons. Because first off, he is the coach of my NFL team, the Arizona Cardinals, and also when I look at this guy, reminds me of my dad. Like just in the way, like he just looks like my dad, and I really like him because of that. I'm going to be taking Jonathan Gannon. He will raise all of his children to have fire in their guts.
I respect it. With my next pick, I'm going to be taking a guy that I'm very glad Carson didn't take there. Another guy who really just revitalized the team he went to. Great dynamic with all the guys you see. You saw it firsthand on a hit Netflix series called Quarterback. I'm going to be taking Kevin O'Connell with my second pick. I think he's a great guy, really cares for his team fans. I think he'd be a great dad too. And hey, kind of seems like a dad out there with JJ McCarthy.
I really wanted Kevin O'Connell. You know what? We're just gonna do it. I'm just gonna get the double here. I'm just gonna take John Harbaugh now.
Yep, that was my initial game.
Yeah,
That's a great father-uncle dynamic right there.
Not only, like they'll both they'd both be great fathers, and they can complement each other well. That's the team synergy that I got that no other team is gonna really have.
For sure.
Now after that, I gotta think for a second. I'm gonna do it with the 7th pick. I'm gonna go with the guy that he brings a lot of fire to the table, but he's another one of those coaches where he's got a young guy, and he's got a lot of spirit to him, and he's a fun guy to be around. Mr. Dan Quinn.
Yes, I like that one.
That's not who I thought.
See, okay, I'm gonna take a dive here because I think there's a chance Carson will take him next, and I don't want to risk losing this guy. Now this guy to me, I'm just gonna say he screams amazing stepdad vibes. Like you go out there, you don't have a great relationship with your father. Let's just say his name is, I don't know, Matt Eberflus. And then, you come home one day, your mom brings this guy home, amazing guy. You hit it off immediately. You can tell he cares. You can tell he has a real passion. And his name is Ben Johnson. Great guy, great replacement guy. Really cares about the community, players, the team, everyone. Really cares about you.
Ian, I'm not gonna lie. I would have taken him coming up I did want you to be the one who got him, especially since I took Gannon. But if he was still available in round 5 for some reason, I would have 100% taken him. I
I was
wanted
planning on taking him next round, but I just didn't want to risk it.
Yeah, smart. With my next pick, I'm going to be taking someone who is really nurturing. He's very tough on his guys, but he really wants to make sure that they grow up and develop to be the best. I'm looking at another guy who's developing a pretty young guy this year. I totally thought Alex was stealing him from me. He is not. I'm taking Brian Dable.
Ooh, I was looking at him. That was originally going to be my pick there, but I wanted Ben Johnson more.
Yeah. And then, okay. With my next pick, I'm going to be picking someone who I love the way that he works with his organization. I think he's very in touch with the city. I respect his commitment to the people there, and especially his rookies. He's very good with his rookies. Very connects with them on a very personal level. I'm going to be taking Sean McVay.
I was looking on.
See, I'm kind of torn here. Both these guys, for me, just scream dad. They just give massive MDE, mean dad energy, mean in a good way. I forget I said that. I'll just do a coin flip in my head. Okay, boom, I'm taking Mike Vrabel here.
Oh,
He screams dad to me. I don't know. He just has very he screams dad to the eyes. He screams it in his passion for the team. You can tell Vrabel has a lot of passion in what he does. May not be the best dad, but you can tell, like, in terms, but in heart, you can tell he loves being a father. He really wants to be a father. And if the team doesn't if the child doesn't want that, aka the team, he still cares. And I've got to take him there.
This is gonna be a bold pick, but I think we've hit the point where I can draft him safely because he's not gonna be a bad dad. He'll never be a bad dad. He's not gonna be the best dad either. But Mike Tomlin's never gonna be a bad dad. He's gonna be a pretty good dad. He'll always be a pretty solid dad, right around the And I think he'd also defend his kid, like in a sense where maybe his kid gets called to the principal's office for something stupid. He'll go and he'd be like, "We do not care."
Honestly, I know me and Carson kind of made some disappointed faces, but actually, kind of think about, I do agree. Sometimes all you need
We
is
give the
just
disappointed face after.
sometimes all you need is just a dad. Sometimes just even an average dad is still a dad.
Yeah, exactly. Now I'm a little torn. I'm specifically going off of this past year because I don't think before this past year I would have actually drafted him, but he was a lot lighter, a lot more relaxed this year, and I think that's a good representation. He's been getting a lot better with that. And just because y'all took y'all as coaches, I'm gonna take Sean McDermott.
Oh,
I know. So there is a part of me that's thinking maybe not, but I think he actually would be a pretty solid dad, especially this past year was a lot more laid back. He was a lot more relaxed as well. I think when he's more relaxed, he'd be a great dad.
with my last pick, I certainly have some options. I really don't know here. Honestly, you know what? I'll just take the last guy available on my list. I'll take Kevin Stefanski.
I was thinking about that
Oh.
Same thing as Rabel. Just screams good dad energy, visually, and you can tell he cares. You could say his quarterback room is all his children, a lot of them younger and older. And he's there, he's working, he's doing what he can, and that's all you can ask for that. Sometimes all you need is a dad.
Ooh. With Mr. Irrela Dad, I've got 3 names written down. None of them are my favorite candidates, but I think all of them could do a good job, and I'm comfortable enough with the rest of my roster. I think I have an amazing roster lined up to maybe take a shot at someone. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna take a shot at someone. So 2 of my safer picks on this list, I've got shout outs. I've got Kyle Shanahan. I think he would be a very solid dad. He's a very smart guy. Pete Carroll. I mean, he's a college professor. We know that he's great with teaching and whatnot. So he would also be really solid. And Pete Carroll, I really want to take here. In fact, I'm second guessing myself right now. But this last guy, okay, he's done a lot of good with his current child. I guess we've mostly been talking about the quarterbacks as children. With his child, he did a lot of good with him last season. But this guy is willing to do what whatever it takes for his team and for his family, legal or illegal. He's willing to do it all. I'm taking Sean Payton.
I almost took him too. Tough love guy right there. Lots of tough
Mhm.
love out of him.
So much tough love. But
Hey,
he'll
You know, Bo
do it
Nix and
all.
Sean Payton have the father-son arguments too.
Oh, they absolutely do.
That's fun to watch.
So I got to take Sean Payton as Mr. Irrelevant.
All right, well, there you guys have it. There's our 2025 Coaches as Dads draft. Go down to the comments. Let us know. Grade each of our drafts. Let us know who won the draft. And more importantly, give us ideas for what to do in the future. We love to hear ideas from you guys. We love to, give service to the fans. We'll draft pretty much anything you can think of. So go out, drop your ideas. And if you give us a good idea and we use it, we'll shout you out on the pod.
With that, ladies and gentlemen, that does bring an end to this episode of Footballers Anonymous After Hours. We have a little bit of time. I think it might be a good idea. When we get towards the end of a season, we like to kind of touch base and kind of talk about what the content flow is going to look like afterwards. We haven't really talked about this much ourselves, so it's kind of us also talking to each other. But we just wanted to let you guys, kind of give you guys an idea of what Footballers Anonymous After Hours is going to look like once we're done with the UFL next week.
Midnight shift.
Yeah.
We are entering the midnight shift, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's safe to say that we're probably going to be entering our 2-week phase again.
I think it's very safe to say that. The problem with the offseason is, especially once the UFL is done, a lot of the NFL stuff has passed. We're in the past, 3 weeks, we've gotten 5 total signings, maybe 5 to 10.
Yeah.
Not a lot. And again, to spread out between those 3 weeks, there's just not a lot for us to cover. Well, with that being said, we're also going to be making content for you guys. And we have some personal things that we're going to do as well. I don't know how we're really going to plan that. Are we doing 2-week podcast episode and then every other week we do a little special episode, or are we just doing it?
I think
Bi-week as well?
I think we can say we'll have our regularly scheduled episodes every week or every other week, as we do. We'll probably, I don't know if we'll take a break after the championship or if we'll do an episode and then take our break. But I think we will, if we have special episodes, which we're going to have a lot of special episodes because we've really been cooking up some interesting ideas. Those will just be released in between the weeks. And those will be announced as we come up with them. We'll probably have at least one a month until an NFL season starts. We'll probably have 2 in some months because I know we have a lot of ideas cooking. But we're very excited about this, for a number of reasons. Because, one, we're gonna get to spend a whole lot more time doing some of our new segments where we just get to talk about things like our quick picks, which has nothing to do with what's currently happening in football, but it's just fun to talk about football. We're going to try to come up with a couple more things just to, keep things interesting. We will have a lot of, for the next week or two, we'll have a lot of, UFL players moving on to the NFL level that we'll get to talk about. But yes, you can expect our regular 2-week after hours format while we are in the midnight shift. But, ladies and gentlemen, you will get to see us here next week for a pretty special episode of Footballers Anonymous, as we will be doing the finale of the UFL season. So make sure to stick with us so you can hear our UFL awards presented by Footballers Anonymous, which automatically makes them better than anything Pete Prisco would do or the UFL would do, because we are better than all major corporations. So you should stay tuned for that. And with that, make sure to follow us on our Instagram. We are almost to 100 followers on Instagram. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. We are so close to 150. It would be so great if we could get to 150 as we get to our UFL season finale. We only need a couple more of you guys on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe. You can hit the bell if you want to stay up to date on all Footballers Anonymous content. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, where we only post Minion memes. I think we're still trying to fix the page, but if you follow us, then we will make sure that you get that content, and on TikTok as well. With
We're
that,
5 followers away from 100 on TikTok.
5 followers.
And hey, I will shout out the next 5 followers on the pod.
Guys, we're racing some pretty big milestones. But with that, thank you very much, Footballer Nation. Let's ride.